You'll use the myofascial release ball to spot treat your outer hips NIT band. And then we'll use somatic releasing, which are these pumping, pulsing, sliding, gliding movements to open up big planes of connective tissue in your body. We'll close with a common hip opener so you can see the difference this slow, subtle work makes in your body. Begin laying down and cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Put the ball underneath the left outer hip, and you're going to roll a little bit side to side. Work along the rim of the pelvis, and you can zigzag your way down towards the lower rim of the pelvis and the sitting bones. You can get onto the outer hip. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. And you may move, and that's often easier in the beginning. And then when you find something interesting, maybe in that agony ecstasy camp, you can hold and breathe and wait for it to release. Similar to massage, you can use those broad, sweeping strokes, or you can apply pressure and hold until the tension dissolves. Now, I use the alpha ball specifically. I find lacrosse balls too hard, tennis balls too soft, and the alpha ball is really, really an extraordinary tool. Once you've done some release, change sides. And if you want more time, you can always pause the recording and do a little bit more. This is one of those practices that you'll probably use the recording a handful of times, and then you'll know what to do, and you can do this type of releasing work on your own. So the ball is myofascial release work. The somatic releasing work is a blend of yoga asana, Feldenkrais, Thomas Hanna's work. I learned most of this from T.S. Little and his style of practice, Satya. And we're releasing the body and the connective tissue, but there's also nervous system benefits. Many of us hop onto the mat or do strength training in that same go, 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 do mode that we do everything in. And that's okay, but the body's not super receptive in that state. And this creates an open body, open nervous system so that you actually soak up more of what you're doing, plus you have more capacity for creating. Now, just a little more time with the outer hip work. And if you find you need to go back to the first side, do it. If you're good and you actually need a little more work on the second side, stay with it for a little bit longer. And we're going to work on the IT bands next. For the next myofascial release technique, stretch your legs out straight. You're going to be laying on your back and put the ball against your left outer hip. And then left arm by the ear, and you'll roll onto the ball. I find this the best way to get the right setup. And your left arm's going to support your head. I'm going to prop myself up a little bit so I don't squish the mic. And then you're going to slide the left leg in and out. Now, sometimes just being on the side is enough. Sometimes you even need a little more than this slide. And if you do, you'll pick your foot up off the floor and you'll bend and straighten with the foot off the floor. You may even hold at certain points. Like for me right here, I can really get into some sensitive areas that obviously need release. And you're going to do that a few times. A little goes a long way with this one. And then you want to make sure it's palatable enough that you can do it again. You'll come back to it another day. So when you're ready, change sides. I'm going to spin around so I can keep an eye on everything and you can see me more clearly. And you're going to roll onto the right side. Again, you can hold here. Note that I'm using my left hand, left fingers, and left foot as like a kickstand. And then you can bring the leg in and out. This is why being on carpet or having a blanket over your mat is useful. And then option to lift the foot up, in and out just a few more times. And when you're complete, you'll come off the ball, lay on your back. I'm going to spin around again and take a moment for your body to sink, settle, receive. So you can see the spot treatment of the myofascial release. And now as we get into the somatic release, notice the big planes of connective tissue and how that's different but similar. Hands are going to be interlaced behind your head. And then you're going to start to bring the right leg up in what I call tree slides. And ideally the knee stays low and out to the side the whole time. You don't want to feel like it's kind of swinging up and down or lifting high away from the floor. And after maybe 8 or so on the right side, you're going to go over to the left. Now, for some of us, this may be awkward and clunky. You may only lift a little bit and then want to kind of lift the leg. Don't do that. You want to keep as much contact with the floor as possible and only as far as you can truly slide the leg up without any gripping and grabbing in the inner thigh line. And this work is diagnostic as well as therapeutic. After about 8, good, go back to the stickier side and do a few more. And sometimes the best way to work out asymmetries in the body is to do what we call wabi-sabi. Do a little bit more on the side that's tight. Treat your body as it is, not how we wish it to be. Okay, good. And then once you're complete, you're going to reach through the legs, use your hands to traction the back of your neck, and just take a moment to soak up the space and length that you've created. Notice if you feel like a flow through the inner thigh line or more relaxation along the back rim of the pelvis or maybe even the front belly. We're going to add on, you're going to unpack the arms, take them out to a T or low V, put your feet on the floor, feet wide, knees wide. Drop your knees over to the left, your head can roll to the right, and then come back up and go to the other side. And this is just a simple windshield wiper movement. You can put a little bit of energy into the feet, so it's like the right hip wraps and you lengthen through the right thigh. And then the same thing as you go over to the right side, you lengthen more through the left. And we're going to add the arms and what I'm going to call arm brushing. And this helps us get more of that cross-body pattern. So when the knees come up, arms up. As knees go to the left, my right arm's going to go to the right. I'm going to brush my left hand across the arm all the way to the center of the chest. And then inhale back up. And then exhale, knees to the right, left arm to the left, right hand all the way to the center of the chest. Keep going. Inhale, everything comes up. Exhale, knees to the left, arms to the right. Inhale back to center, and the head's going to move in the same direction as the straight arm. Do just a few more. And then back to center. And then arms go out into a T, inner edge of the knees drop together. Take a moment to pause, breathe, receive. Now stretch your legs out straight. Similar but different. Keep the left arm out, left leg straight, right hand at the center of your chest. You're going to pedal with the right foot, reach with the left hand all the way to the right fingertips, and then you're going to rock back. So there's the reaching. You're rolling on the side of your head. Again, I'm going to keep my head a little elevated. I would normally roll onto my forehead simply because of the microphone. And do a few more. And then change sides, right arm out to the right, right leg straight, left foot on the floor, left hand at the center of the chest. You lift the left hip. You're completely on the right side, right head, right shoulder, right hip. That's the inhale. You want to reach through the upper back, kind of like an eagle arm-like stretch. And then exhale, release and relax. And then do many of those. Inhale when you're reaching. Exhale when you're releasing. There's almost like a surrender quality when you rock back. And we want that type of release in the body. Sometimes we're holding tension we don't even know we have. I learned a lot about the tension in the back of my skull when I started doing this work. It was like my head was always a little bit pulled away from the floor. Okay, and then release, relax, receive. We've got one more movement that's in this family. It's going to have what I call an open tree variation. So you're going to stretch the left arm up by the ear. You're going to push with your right foot and kind of rock a few times like what we just did. It's like a wind up, warm up. And then you're going to roll onto your left side. Head rests on the left arm. And you're going to hold the right knee. I recommend holding the kneecap like you're palming a basketball. There's a significant amount of external rotation in the hip, so there's softness in the groin. And this is kind of just teaching the hip, the knee, the pelvis a new way to be and move with the core online. And then stretch the right leg straight, right arm goes up and over by the ear, belly back, ribs in and back. You can get a little push through the core, through the inner heels of the feet, and then rock and release onto your back. Okay, last thing, right arm by the ear, pump and pedal with the left leg, 3, 2, and then you roll onto the right side. Slowly lift the left knee, hold it like you're palming a basketball. And a lot of times you want the pelvis to go forward for balance, as if there's a hand on your sacrum pressing the pelvis forward. And then you can kind of kick the inner edge of the foot forward. And then arm and leg straight, get some tension, get some traction, some space and possibility. One more inhale here, and then exhale, release, relax completely. Notice any tingling in the body, a sense of release and opening and spaciousness in areas that you might not have even known you had tension in. And then we're going to close with a very, very common hip opener. And I encourage you to notice the difference that this work made in your body. So grab the block, place it underneath the occipital ridge so it's lengthening, tractioning the back of your neck, and your chin drops down just enough to tone the back center of your throat. And then we're going to do a figure 4. So right ankle over left thigh, maybe lengthen through the low back pelvis a little bit. And then you can hold around the right hamstring, maybe the shin, keep the right foot flexed. And it was this pose that really made me a believer in the myofascial release, because it felt like all the connective tissue was going the same way, almost like a school of fish or a flock of birds moving together versus kind of chaotic and random. And then it was like the opening would hold. I didn't feel like I was fighting my body anymore. And then after a few rounds of breathing here, change sides. And again, you can hold the hamstring or the shin, whatever works. Do keep some degree of flex in the foot. Resist overly cranking the hip or pushing on the knee. A story for another day. I don't recommend either one of those, but also all the release we did will get you into the right tissues. Now, this can be a practice in and of itself. Sometimes what I really need is just to do this and help my body repair and recover. You could do unshakable core work after this, or an asana strong practice, or fun flow like get up and glow. And then knees into your chest when you're ready. Maybe remove the block and rock along your spine. A smooth rock along the spine says a lot about the tissue on the backside of your body, especially if you're someone who tends to get achy and tight in your lower back. And then onward and upward you go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for practicing.